Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. How is everybody doing tonight? Hey, Tonia.
Hey, Joy. Guess
How
we're
are
waiting
you?
for some folks to pop up in here before we get started. How are
Oh,
you guys doing?
so, how was your Monday been?
It was great today. Training all week.
Oh,
The teacher way.
right.
Professional development is what they call it. How are you guys doing? How was your Monday? Joy, how rude of me.
It's been Monday. It's been Monday, but it's been good.
Hey, Hillary. Hey there.
Hi, Hillary. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you? So, what are we talking about tonight? Just say no to narcs.
We're saying just say no to toxic sex. That's what we're talking about tonight.
But listen, people love that toxic sex, though.
Hmm.
So, what's the problem with toxic sex?
Well, the problem with toxic sex, what's our did we put our title up there? Is that this is the narcissist weapon of mass destruction?
Yes, it is a narcissist's weapon of mass destruction, sex, and toxic sex. It's sex at that. I mean, like anything that any interaction that you have with a narcissist is going to be about sex. I mean, it's going to be toxic. What am I talking about? So let's go.
Anything and everything to do with sex, you guys. Hey, we're gonna wait for some more of you to get up in here. Hey, you guys. Hey, Miss Lawson and Ruth and Melissa.
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much. We have Karen coming in from Honolulu today, and we thank you so much. We had to move our live from Tuesday to Monday, just as, something going on with our schedules, but we'll be back on track next week, and we'll continue to come here and answer the questions that you are asking. So many people have been asking about the narcissist and sex, and how sex is a weapon that the narcissist uses, and how it actually continues to be a form of manipulation. Like when it comes to normal healthy people, when we engage in the act of sex, when we are sharing intimacy with somebody that we're in relationship with, somebody that we care about, somebody that we love, it's an exchange. It's an even exchange. But when it's with the narcissist, like, listen, this character has nothing good to offer to anybody. So
Yeah.
even when it comes to sex, the element of power and control is still going to be going on. It's still going to be taking place. I mean, they never change. They don't deviate from who they are. So tonight we're going to be getting into so many things about what sex with the narcissist is like, and then we're going to do a continuation as we dive into deeper topics where we will cover sexual assault as well as emotional incest and how that looks coming, or how the narcissist uses that tool. So let's get right into tonight's discussion. So, Tanya, what sex?
All righty. Sorry, I was setting everything on here so I can make sure I'm ready to go. All righty. Cool. So here's something that we've discussed before about how narcissists and then just really toxic people with toxic behavior in general are very fluid sexually, meaning they are willing to do anything and everything with anything and everything. That goes from they will be, they will have sex with men, women. Many of them are predators. They are into incest, bestiality, um, swingers, and there are some regular people who just enjoy sex and do some risque things, who are not narcissistic or necessarily toxic people, I guess. But you'll find that narcissistic people, for the most part, even when they try and tell you that, someone may be a cerebral narcissist where they're just into, you know, um, what they know. But I find that what I've heard from many different people is that everyone's narcissist used sex as a weapon, whether they're use it aggressively and they have aggressive sex with you, or they withhold sex. But either way it goes, sex is their tool to connect to your soul and to suck it right out of you. It is their weapon of mass destruction. They are trying to collect souls, and they have figured that the gateway to your soul is through giving you sex in a way to make you feel like they care about you, but they really do not. They do not connect. Sex is not an intimate act for a narcissist. It is for you. It includes care and love, but for them, it's something completely different. It's demonic.
And you said some really great things, because sex with a narcissist has nothing to do with intimacy. In fact, anything to do with a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath is going to be void of intimacy. And that's because at their core, they don't want to get close to you. They feel, or they fear, that by experiencing intimacy, you are going to be able to take a look on their inside and figure out who they are. At the core of a narcissist is shame. They are shame-based individuals who are unable to self-reflect. And self-reflect, when we self-reflect or self-regulate, really, that's where we're taking a look on our insides and beginning to do work that we need to do to become a better person, to, when you check yourself. But they don't do that. They cannot do it. It causes them pain, and is a pain that freezes them. So they will never be intimate with you. Some of them can come with a good game, and they will throw that thing on you like never before.
Mhm.
And that's they're the seductive narcissist. That's the weapon that they use. But they do that so that they can connect with you, or they can pull you in like that. But then later on, the whole goal is so that now you feed into their ego like that. Like, listen, how many of you in the comments here, how many on YouTube watching right now, how many of you, your narcissist, your ex-narcissist, would ask you after the fact that you've had sex, who is the best sex partner that you ever had? How do I compare to your ex? Did they do this? Did they do that? How big was their thing? Like they don't even stop. It's all about competition with the narcissist. So it can never, there's no room for intimacy.
Right. No room for intimacy, because it's all about control and power. They want to take over your soul. They're collecting souls. And so this is what their goal is overall, to control you through sex so that they can take your soul. They can steal your light from you. And the way to do that, they're using sex. It is all lust. None of it is real. Lust is an illusion of love. It is a fake, a sort of counterfeit intimacy. So this is what the narcissist uses. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're so obsessed over that performance. They have to be so good at it. And again, it's all about deriving narcissistic supply. And so here's the thing. They will manipulate you, right? We've said this, like when it comes to sex, they will tell you something like, you need to lose 10 pounds before I start having sex with you again. That is punishment. That's that punishment, just as, it's supposed to be, it devalues you. That's what it is. And they can do that to you if you have issued a narcissistic injury, or if you just deserve punishment according to the narcissist, because they feel like they have the right to punish you at any given time. But another thing about sex with a narcissist is that even if you break up with them, even if you divorce them, they still see you as an extension of themselves. Now, many people always ask, how do I stop myself from being an extension to the narcissist? Look, you can't make anybody do anything. All you have to do is go no contact and stay away from this person. They mean you no good. And just looking back at your relationship pattern, you have all the information that tells you that this thing was never right. It was never good. They were never going to treat you well. Nothing changes with the narcissist. It's in them. And so, you'll always be an extension to who they are. So that's why they feel like they can always come back and get sex from you anytime. It's important that when you put your foot down, you put your foot down. There is no one foot in and one foot out. Otherwise, you continue to allow yourself to be part of the narcissistic harem. That is a collection of all the people that the narcissist calls upon at the drop of a dime to have sex with, to triangulate, to just inflict pain, play with you. Why do you think you deserve to be on a shelf?
Right. You deserve so much better. You deserve love. You deserve intimacy. You know, you deserve to feel good about yourself. The person you love, who you make feel good about themselves, should be doing the same for you. If they're not, cut them loose. Okay, let them go.
Let them go.
I want to jump in the comments. Is that
Listen,
okay?
yeah, but did you see Melissa? She just talked about her finding out that he went both ways. Like we talked about this, like they are trisexual. They will try anything. They will be straight, they will be bi, they are into bestiality, necrophilia, anything. I mean, if it can give them a form of narcissistic supply, and that is so different it's different from narcissist to narcissist. So it really just depends on what supply is to that person, but there is no limits.
No limit. The no limit narc. Woo. So I see, I want to say hi, Empath Uprising, Lacrosse's Lounge. They have channels. You guys please check them out. Hey, Edith. Yes, I had to know he was the best. Yep, they want to make sure that you feel they're the best. And so that's just their way of feeling like, okay, I've got this person, I can hook them in, and then now I can use sex as a tool of control and power. So once you give in and say, oh yeah, you're so much better than anyone I've ever been with, when they feel that that is true for you, they're going to take it to a different level. The sex may have even been fantastic up to that point. Then some of them will just take it away, even though we know that they just like having sex. They're addicted to sex. But they'll take it away just because they think of sex differently than normal people. Go ahead.
They really do think about sex differently. Like you said, they'll take it away, and it's a game. I mean, like we know that all of a relationship with a narcissist is nothing about other than a game, And so it's like they will basically say to you, look. I just went blank for a second. They will say to you, like, look, okay, so you want sex and they want sex. It's happening. It's going down. And then suddenly they see, oh, okay, this is what she likes. Well, I've got something for her today. And they will stop having sex with you. And you continue to be like, hey, what's up? What's up? And they're not coming back. They're not giving it to you. They take it totally off the table. It's not allowed anymore. And the moment that you lose interest and you're like, you know what, whatever, I'm not interested anymore, that's when they come back. Yes. And they begin to play games with your mind. Sex is very much a very strong tactic that they have within their arsenal, especially in the love bombing stages. And you always can tell this because they rush it. Like they're just like they're rushing you into a relationship. Yes. They want to hook you sexually.
Yes. They are the ones who want to go straight to the bedroom on the first night, the first date. They want to stare because it helps them to hook you even faster. So if someone's wanting to push against those boundaries, now I know some people say, hey, I'm grown, I can do what I want. Hey, I have an itch, I want to scratch it, and they go out there and, do whatever they want. But beware, for the narcissist is usually looking for people who are looking for something more, something deeper, and they want to move you to that place faster, as fast as they possibly can. And sex is the way that they do this. So you'll find many of you may have slept with the narc on the first night, and from that point forward, it was all downhill.
Pretty much.
Go ahead. I was just looking at
Jerry saying female narc is very competitive sexually too. Like this doesn't just apply to men. No. I mean, women, the female narc is lethal. The female narc is lethal. She uses her assets to entice men, It goes both ways. So yeah.
It does.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter, man, woman, whatever. They sleep with whatever, they'll oh my gosh.
They're absolutely trisexual.
Oh, big time. I was Empath Uprising. He says his narc has the entire city of Sacramento in her harem garage. It's called Jezebel City. Sounds about right.
I mean, like, listen, that's why narcissists never really want to release you out of their grasp. They want to be at any point have somebody who is ready. They want to use you for added attention and triangulation, and that is why they recycle their exes. So you don't deserve it. Like a lot of people have trouble just letting go. Like you caught them cheating for the 50 billionth time again. And it's, always a person who was never an issue or whatever. You've got to let them go no contact and stay no contact, because you don't
Yeah.
deserve to be put on a shelf. Narcissists shelf their exes. Like I said, every ex to a narcissist is nothing but an extension of who they are.
Yeah.
You are worth more. And you've got to believe that you're worth more, because you can't be looking to this person to actually place you on a pedestal, or, well, they do place you on a pedestal and you know this, and they knock you off. But they will never, ever treat you right. It's not within their DNA to treat you right.
Mm-hmm. I want to respond to Nini's post here. I did, however, get so used to him withholding that it ruined my sex drive. I am 100% single now, but still don't have a desire for sex. And that's another, that's another way that they condition you, because they want you to want for no one or nothing but them. You know,
Mm.
basically, the narcissist's whole goal with this is for you to worship them. They want to be your God. And so in sex, lust is what they use, because the human flesh is addicted to lust. We lust after things that we want, that we desire. And the devil knows this. And we know who the father of the narcissist is the devil, Satan himself. So he's going to use a counterfeit of everything that God has placed in your life, that you're supposed to use for good. He's going to use it all for bad. So there's a counterfeit of everything, every single thing. Your destiny, there's a counterfeit, an illusion, a mirage is what I think of it as. You look far away, it looks like it's where you're supposed to be going, where you're supposed to be heading. You can see the big house. This is all in their future faking and everything. But when you get close to it, it's not there. But they've already hooked you in. So you just keep chasing after something that's not really there. And it started at the root of sex, lusting of the flesh.
And you know what? It's a one-sided connection. Again, they don't feel the same way. In fact, they select their targets. They decide, they watch you, they get to know you, they study you like you are their PhD, like you are a thesis. They study you. And once they know you, they come in and they play you like a fiddle, because they've invested time in it. And so here's the thing, like you mentioned, like a mirage, and it's like they actually they will tell you, like, I'm your God.
Mm-hmm.
So many people, so many victims of narcissistic abuse say this, that their narcissists made them call them master. And this when you're having fun, when you're having a pillow talk, in those tender moments, and they start programming you, and then it becomes during the act of sex, and then they start talking to you, and you begin to exchange affirmations, but these affirmations don't serve you any good. You are now telling them that they are your master, and that you are subjected to them, and you are giving yourself over. And that's part of the indoctrination into their foolery. That's how they begin to tell you what role you're going to play in the relationship. So, while some things may really seem like, we just having fun, he's my boo, whatever, that's not your boo. That is a whole fraud, and you don't deserve that. And
Yes.
who was it made a very good point here in the comments. She said that it's a soul tie. And, that's what is really at the base or at the core of this, because psychology will always tell you that it's a trauma bond. And think about it. A trauma bond is so hard to break. A trauma bond comes from that intermittent reinforcement of reward and punishment, and that it's that high that we chase afterwards. Like, we know several times, even psychologists have told you that it's like coming off a heroin addiction. When you break up with a narcissist, you continue to chase that fool. But here's the thing, if we go a little bit deeper, and we know what the root of narcissism is, we know where it comes from. There's lots of biblical context to this. That's the soul tie.
Yes.
We do know that there are positive and negative soul ties. This is definitely your toxic soul tie. And that's why it's so resistant to breaking. And because it's formed out of lust.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, whew. Right on the head. Out of lust. And when we do things out of lust, we find ourselves in some really sticky, terrible situations once we awaken from the fog. from the sleep, the deep sleep that they put us in. It was narc free. I think I listened to her video the other day. I don't know if she's here, but if you guys haven't checked out her channel, do so. And I liked how she explained that the narcissist uses sex to rock you to sleep.
Right.
That was powerful.
I heard that. I watched that video, narc free. She said he rocks you to sleep, and that's where now you fall into sleep. That's where you lose your any type of connection to yourself, because it's your soul that the narcissist is really after, because everything that you are is what attracts the narcissist, and that's what they try to derive from you. Now, this is where we can talk about the narcissist in regards to the incubus spirit, which would be the male, and the succubus spirit, which is this female. Now, you think about the act of sex. A woman draws from a man. He deposits into her. So that's the whole succubus. The incubus, he is pouring into her. So that's how those spirits work, the incubus and the succubus. And so in that regard, and we know what the root is, and you know what the driving force behind it is. So that's where you lose yourself in the midst of all of this, and you continue to get involved in the act, and now you're like fully involved in that whole toxic cycle of the relationship, and you're chasing them.
Yes, chasing them. Isn't that funny? When you thought they were chasing you.
No, they only chase you in the beginning. After that, the roles flip, and you're cuckoo.
You are so right. Did we touch on, I kept seeing in here where everyone was talking about how they don't like to use protection.
Oh, come on now. You show me a narcissist who likes protection, and I will show you the exception to the rule.
Yeah. In other words, there's no such thing. I think we can all agree that, they are absolutely disgusting. But this goes to show you that not only are they harming themselves, or harming you, but they're harming themselves. So that goes back to show you how much they do not care about, not even themselves. They don't care about you. They don't care about anyone, because anyone who cared about themselves would have boundaries, would use wisdom when having sex, use protection, just like how we think. We're hesitant, like, no, we need to use it. But they go ahead and make you feel good, or make you feel like you're the only one in the world, so that they can go and have sex with you without any protection. Next thing you know, you look up, you got an STD. It's probably something you can never get rid of. And guess what happens to your relationships thereafter? They're non-existent almost, because any person you date after that, you have to come forth with the information and tell that person, hey, let's say herpes, for example. The narcissist gave me herpes. And so I have to tell everyone before dating that this person gave me herpes and this is my life. So if I'm dating and we have sex, there's a risk, even with the use of condoms, that you can, catch herpes. That's a really hard thing. They try to ruin your life, period. That is their goal, to completely destroy you. Again, sex is their weapon for mass destruction.
Come on now. It absolutely is. And it's so typical of a narcissist to not want to use protection, because look at their entire life. They are reckless in every area of their life. Now you have your high functioning narcissist who keeps it together and can advance in the workspace, or advance in some area of life. But then look at everything else. Narcissists are more likely to be in legal and financial trouble. Their personal lives are a mess. Their relationships are in the gutter. This is where the illusion continues, that you think that because they've left you and now they're with somebody else, that they're rocking that person to sleep. Yeah, they sure are. To sleep, so that they can never respond to the narcissist's foolishness, that kind of sleep that you were in but are now awake from. And the crazy thing is, these crazy people, men and women, all want to have your baby. The minute it's a new relationship, all they want to talk about is a baby.
Yes.
They deposit that child in you, not because they want to have a family. Let's not get it twisted. First of all, the narcissist is not capable of love. If you don't believe it, go research it. The narcissist does not love like you or I do. The narcissist, you can't have a relationship with a narcissist. It's always a transaction ship. What can they get out of this relationship? If they can get anything out of you, they don't want you. If they feel like I've used this person to the max and there's nothing else for me to derive, guess what? It's over. There's nothing there. So they want to impregnate you, or they want to have your baby. And that is only so that they have a reason to say, hey, you're in my life forever now. And I'm not going to say that all these women who do this are narcissists, but it is a narcissistic trait. Mm-hmm. You take a look at all those sports figures, basketball players, football players, who work hard and they pour their whole lives into their careers. Mm-hmm. And then after 5 years, she wants $400 million and what?
Yeah. She got a baby.
That's a trend. I mean, that's a trait. That's not to say that they are narcissists, but that is a narcissistic trait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah.
Man, and again, it takes it back. You were talking about in a video you posted last night about this being a cult.
Listen.
That there, right there is like, there's the female narc cult.
Okay.
In that arena, when it comes to sports, they have this connection. I swear there's something somewhere they're hiding, some kind of big meeting they have. Okay, you go get this one, I get this one. And then, then we're going to make shows about it,
Yep.
Call out any shows, but then we're going to make shows about it. And we're breaking up with these guys and hooking up and taking their money and all this kind of stuff. And yeah.
Right. And this is a good point, Yeah. While using protection definitely would feel like a rule. And we know that they don't like boundaries. They don't respect restraining orders. They don't respect court orders. They could be in court with a judge. They don't respect that judge. That's just who they are.
They are. I'm going to go in here. Oh, I like what Juan said. The relationship ends when you start supplying them. Yep. As soon as you, I'm just going to say, as soon as you give up the booty, they start.
Tonia, you see Melissa's comment, or who can you talk to about this? And, we have talked about this a lot. And, this is why I appreciate this community and communities like this, is it gives us survivors a space to talk about what we've been through, and not only what we've been through, but how we get through it, because it's so disheartening and it's very discouraging for so many victims on their way to survivorship of narcissistic abuse, who go to your traditional therapists, who go to your psychologists and your counselors. And because they may not be experienced in narcissistic abuse. And it's my hope that they do get, that they do get an understanding or begin to train in that or in this field, and use their education, everything that they've learned, to help victims, because it's almost like, they'll tell you, just get over it. But that's not how this works. This is whole psychological manipulation, and I don't know. It's just really hard. So yeah, you're right. And that's why we can talk about sex right here.
Right. Toxic sex. We all been there, experienced some of the same crap with these folks. Let me see here. I was looking at one. I thought I have a. Oh, Empath Uprising. Use, and abuse, then move on to next.
Right.
That's why I say sex is a weapon of mass destruction. They pile up bones with sex.
They sure do, and it's all about their own gratification. So while they're withholding sex and you want sex, guess who is over right there in the bed next to you, hiding their phone, watching porn, and jerking off?
Yes. Oh, so let's talk about that. Narcissist and masturbation. Now, masturbation is not exclusive to narcissists, okay?
Yeah.
But they they do it in a very disgusting way, and they do it to degrade you, because lots of times I've heard lots of people, had the experience myself, they'll want to do it with you around. And what does that say to you about intimacy? How does that devalue you? When someone is there and they're just like, oh, I can just do it, without you. It makes you feel worthless. Like, I can't do anything to satisfy this person, and he or she's going to satisfy themselves. That is narcissistic behavior all the way. I was looking at Dark Free. She says they are. Oh, go ahead, Joy. I didn't want to cut you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
They are seeking a baby or marriage. If you are a grade A supply, they want to lock you down. This was my issue too with my ex, is that he always said I want to get you pregnant. I want to get you pregnant. Thought that I was pregnant when he decided to devalue me horribly. I left. And so he thought that although I discarded him, he really discarded me in the end, because he thought I was pregnant. So he went on and moved straight to the new supply, who he had already been working on, and thought that it was going to last and he was going to come back. This is what they think. So it's going to last. And once she kind of pushes out that baby or something, I'll be back around. But God saw fit for other plans, and I did not carry that child to term. And just like a narcissist, he was not there. In fact, on the night that was happening, he was out with the new supply, making sure to post, plenty pictures and things like that. So this is the kind of stuff that they do. It's terrible. So the pain that a lot of you guys go through when it comes to dealing with them, maybe having children with them, and how they try to lock you down as a grade A supply, sometimes that backfires on them. Even if you do bring the child to term, you carry the child to term and give birth, and you have children with them. Many times those children, they think, are still always the doorway into you, and those kids decide they don't want anything to do with them. And so they can't even use the children anymore as they thought they could do.
And that's so crazy that the children are nothing but an extension to the narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not about love. Children of narcissists are used by their narcissistic parent. They are trained to become heavily codependent or a narcissist themselves. And, sometimes because the training may be so intense, they end up being a whole psychotic narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's crazy because their life is greatly altered. Like we've said it so many times in this, during this live alone, that these people are not capable of feeling love. And so if you're teaching your child this, like, come on, what hope do you think you have? There is no hope. There is no hope, and so it's so important to recognize what you are dealing with and step away from it. And I can't remember, I was trying to hold on to her name, but the comments are going real fast, who said that she still feels panicky. And that's because you're still detoxing from the narcissist, and so you may still be experiencing triggers here and there that cause you to feel that way. But we talked about going through the process. We walk through the valley of the shadow of death. We don't stay stagnant. Continue to pour into yourself, focus on self-love and boundaries, and do the inner work, because a lot of the times there is an injury that happened to us early in life that makes us that draws the narcissist like a moth to the flame to us. Mm-hmm. Heal that. That is what's going to change your trajectory of all your future relationships.
Right.
Yes.
I agree. And the way to avoid, I think the way to avoid entering in these relationships, the toxic relationships, because we all know that they all move fast. They move quickly. They want to move quickly with sex and everything. So resisting lust, using our minds, using wisdom when we're going into, for those of you who are going into a new relationship, I say put sex, wait for it. because many of us are loving people and kind, and sex is where we make a huge intimate connection with another person. It just is. You know, there are some people who just like to have sex and have no feeling with it, but I don't know any who are empathic who think that way about sex. So the only people I know who think that way about sex are where there's no intimate connection are narcissists. So knowing that you connect, you make an intimate soul tie with someone through sex. Wait. Let the person show you who they are first. And when they do show you who they are, like Maya Angelou said, when they show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Don't give up your goods. Your body, what you do with it is your right. Don't ever let anyone pressure you into feeling like, oh, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want this to go anywhere if we can't have sex. I want to test drive it first. Or let's move in together. You have boundaries. Some people don't want to live together before getting married, and it's not to judge the ones who do. I'm just saying, whatever your boundaries are, don't let them cross them. If they want to cross your boundaries or make you feel bad or less than for having those boundaries set, then just move on. There are too many fish in the sea. Too many.
Exactly. Empath Uprising just said, believe them the first time. You better believe them the first time. And here's the thing about boundaries. We mentioned it earlier that narcissists hate boundaries. Like, they reject boundaries with everything that is within them.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they want to push your boundaries. So they'll test you real gently in the beginning, find out what you like sexually, what you don't like, what is too much for you, and slowly begin to push you to what is too much for you, simply because that is going to allow them the opportunity to just get narcissistic supply from you, knowing that I'm causing you to do something that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And so again, it's all about power and control. The narcissist wants dominion. And when they think about dominion is really about exercising your rights. But for them, they take it like as believing that I am the full authority figure over you. That's why narcissists think that they are gods. They think they're omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. The narcissist thinks that they are all those things. That's why they want you to call them their gods. That's why they want to tell you their master and you their slave. But here's the thing. When they start pushing your boundaries sexually, you've got to put your foot down.
Yeah.
No, because next thing you know, you're going to be in a threesome. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, you are going to be in an orgy. Next thing you know, now they're bringing all kinds of weird toys, and now you're in SMS or those kinks, whatever. Or listen, there are stories upon stories about how people ended up in bestiality in the bedroom with their pets. All at the hands of their narcissist. Like, guys, this information is out there. None of this is being manufactured. Go ahead and research it. A lot of people want to throw salt on the narcissist community, but these are our experiences. This is what we know to be true. Go ahead and research some of these things and allow that to teach you, allow that to show you what is really out there. You stopped dating after being with the narcissist. That's cool. Pull back, but heal. Heal. Until you heal, you will continue to draw the same joker.
Yes, I agree. I was looking here. It says Peter Levine has some trauma release free online. Been really helpful, guys. Please check it out. If you have anxiety or having fear resurfacing, that's good. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing that. I see John says, I don't encourage anyone to do this, but I had to have my doctor prescribe me sertraline to deal with the anxiety. I've always had anxiety, but she sent my panic and anxiety attacks through the roof. The whole push and pull thing, that is really the thing that just puts you on eggshells, puts you to where you have, a lot of us could have been diagnosed or could be diagnosed with CPTSD.
And that's the thing is a lot of people, don't go to get checked out afterwards, but really for so many victims of narcissistic abuse, it is CPTSD.
Yes.
Complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
Absolutely. Jamaica says that if they could, they would practice polygamy.
Yes. So right.
You know that.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Melissa. Love to you, sweetie. Edith and
Yes.
Callie vomiting. She's there. Ugh, they make you. They're gross. They are disgusting. They're vile creatures. They're snakes. They're serpents. They crawl on their bellies on the ground and pick up all of the garbage and poison, and then they bring it to you. That's the way you need to see them, as a slithering snake.
Listen. Listen, you have to see them for who they really are. I think one of the problems is that we start painting them the way we want to see it. Forgive yourself for not seeing them for who they truly are when we first met them. When you first meet them, they're the person you always dreamed of. They're the person that you wanted your entire life, and that's simply because they are mirroring you back onto you. So technically, you're in love with yourself. You have developed feelings for nobody but yourself, because if you could see what's inside of the narcissist, you would run, because who has time for that?
Yes. Yes.
That's right. They're only faithful as their options. So when you find that the narc is not going anywhere and with you steadily, supply is low.
Yes, that's so true. Good point there. Oh, thank you, Narc Free.
Thank you so much.
Again, you have not visited her channel.
You need to get to her channel. It is full of great words of wisdom. I was actually binge watching her channel today. I watched quite a few of your videos today, and they are so awesome.
Yes, thank you. They are. And what's the name? Post the name of your video that talks about toxic sex here, so everyone can see, to know which video to go see, because that video was on fire. Mercedes asked, do most narcs have fetishes? I know that my ex-narc, the most recent one, did, and the one before that had a fetish. So I would be kind of embarrassed to say what it was, but I don't think I'm on that level yet to share that. But yes, everyone that I've known has some sort of fetish, be it there's one I know which was odd, and it had to do with toes, feet. We wanted to see people's feet and have feet parties with feet parties. Parties with feet.
You know what is so weird is I don't know what's going on with some of these men out there on Facebook or even on Instagram. They just be saying send me pictures of your feet and I'll cash app you some money. First of all, you nasty.
Yeah.
Because these are not even friends. These are just randoms. And you're like, who sent you?
Yes.
That is the work of the enemy.
Yes. Yeah, there's fetishes that they can be, there's a fly. Yeah, they can go from, just a little bit to really extreme.
Real quickly.
And if you don't put any limits on, I think all narcissists, they'll just, do whatever, whenever.
And they always flirt right in your presence. Go to the restaurant with them and the waitress right in front of you, devaluing you, embarrassing you in themselves, but they don't care about that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my ex used to do that all the time, looking at girls behind. And something that's really disgusting that many of you may have noticed with your ex-narc, be it male or female, I've noticed this with both, the gawking at younger male or female in public. I mean, embarrassingly. I can remember this happening so many times. My ex was infatuated with biracial, young biracial. And when I say young, they appear to be teenage girls. So he was infatuated with them. And so anytime we were in public, he would like seriously turn his head to look at them as they walk by, and would say, "Oh, she's a pretty girl," and then really looking from the breast below. And I'm thinking, like, it's all obvious and disgusting. So, and it would happen frequently, every single time. When I see the person coming, a biracial young lady coming from a distance, I'm like, oh my God, here we go. I want to run away and pretend let me go in this store real quick, because I don't want to be standing by him when he does this disgusting thing. And it was just, it just felt wrong. It was wrong. And yeah, I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but
it's true. We were talking about fetishes.
yes. So yes, that can be another one.
And that's another thing where your boundaries come into place, because if if you're very weak with your boundaries, or you don't respect them yourself, when it comes to these fetishes, things what you want to say no to, you find yourself saying yes, because you want to please them, because you've already been programmed, because you've been groomed to say yes and to put yourself aside so that you can entertain the false self of the narcissist. And you end up saying yes to these things that you really want to say no to.
Yeah.
And somebody earlier on was asking about how the old or the aging narcissist is. They are just as nasty. In fact, they are probably nastier because they are desperate. They are older, and they know that the clock is running down on them. They are losing their looks. And for some of them, they are losing their looks. They're losing their sexual abilities. They are also, financially, they may not be in the same position that they once were in previously, as well as, their harem is smaller because people are tired. Yeah. People are tired of who they are. And so family is scarce, friends are even scarcer. And so now they just become desperate. These are the ones that we find constantly chasing down younger sources of supply, hanging out in the clubs, hanging out wherever there are young people, parks, anywhere. And we know some of them are actual deviants when we get into the sociopath. And I mean, the narc himself or themselves are deviants, but I'm talking about the ones that are ultra predatory. And another thing is, like, when we talk about, I guess, I know we were saving this for the next one or whatever, but when we talk about like rapists,
oh my God,
those type of predators,
yes,
they are all narcissists.
Mm-hmm.
Not every narcissist is a sexual deviant, but every sexual deviant, every murderer is a narcissist. Every one of them. It's the God complex that is in them.
Yes. Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up, because actually that was what's on my spirit, that I want to move it into that direction, because I feel a pull in the atmosphere that some people really want to address this. People are confused about when I say no, what is this called when they continue to go and they're my boyfriend or my husband or my wife or my girlfriend, and I say, no, I don't want to have sex, I don't want to do this tonight, and you find yourself forced in that situation aggressively many times. My therapist, when she talked to me, she said, Tonia, it is time for you to call it exactly what it is and what it was. When you say no to someone, it is rape. That's what it is. When you tell someone you do not want to share your body with them, and you don't participate in sexual activity in agreement, that is rape. And I know many of you, this is how rape goes unreported, because we're really confused about the fact that this person is our partner. This person should love us. They should respect us and care about our boundaries. But then we find ourselves pinned down on the bed, clothes ripped off our bodies, dragged across the floor, having sexual acts performed on us aggressively, some of us bleeding afterwards. horrible, horrible things that happen to people that go unreported. I am all about getting rid of these demonic spirits and empowering people. So when you say no, no is a complete sentence. Nothing else should follow except for me fighting back and then calling the police. So when you tell someone no, I don't care who that person is to you, and you find yourself in a situation where sex is being performed, then you need to get up, call the police, leave to a safe place, call the police, and report that person because that is rape. Most rape is committed by someone that you know and that you think should love you. It's not by a stranger. That's the smaller percentage. That's what I want to talk about tonight.
Thanks for sharing that. And another thing that they will do is like, even in the act of sex, you can say no at any time. There is no time. It doesn't have to be before. The moment that you say no, that's it. It has to stop. Just because he has an erection, it does not mean that this thing needs to carry on. He should stop. You find that, this is why I say, like, if you don't feel comfortable doing something, don't do it.
Yes.
Don't do it. If you don't want to be handcuffed, and listen, if you're having somebody handcuff you, make sure this is somebody you can literally trust with your life, somebody who is tried and tested,
Yes.
because they will cuff you and leave you like that. I mean, like, they don't get no. So, yeah. And
Oh, go ahead.
sex, because of sex being such an intimate act, and in the act of sex there's a transference of spirits. That's what makes this the strongest weapon that the narcissist has. Again, we go back to what the driving force behind the narcissist is. Like, I mean, it's time out for us talking about this on a superficial level. But if we truly want to heal, if you truly want to claim your authentic identity, you have got to go to the core of what the matter is. You don't go to fight a strong man and go in not knowing what you're looking for. You've got to get that thing at the root. And at the root of narcissistic abuse is that Jezebel spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to sit here and make a comparison between the spirit of Jezebel or between the devil himself, the traits of them and that of a narcissist are one and the same. So you know what you're fighting. And that's why I love it when you say it. Can you just say that phrase? You got to suit up.
Yes, suit up.
You've got to suit up. Oh, yeah. You definitely have to suit up and know that this is a weapon that they will use.
Yeah.
Learn how to wait. Learn how to wait. They will tickle your ears with all kinds of fancy just to get you to drop the draws. And once you do it, you release all your power to them. And now you become putty in their hands. Now you are the one at their beck and call. That's the transfer of power that goes on in this relationship, because until you do that, you are in control. And afterwards, you will never be in control again, ever. And they will never respect you.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't respect you in the beginning. They just hide it a lot better. They hide it a lot better. And so, let's think about the narcissists that we see on the news, the psychopaths, the sociopaths. How many times is the mother so indoctrinated into their cult that she's left her baby here to be violated? Yes. Right under her nose. She even knows that it's happening. Come on, let's talk about the female narcissist and how she will tell her daughter that, no, he didn't touch you.
Yes.
He didn't touch you. That's all in your mind. He would never do that. Or she's become so desperate for this demonic entity that she is okay with it. Like, shut up. Don't say a word. Don't tell anybody. Like, come on now.
Yes. And that happens, oh my gosh, so much, because that female narcissist wants something from that vile man, who is another narcissist. And she is a wicked, 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 evil witch. And she will use her children. And if that means as sexual bait to get what she wants, then that's what she's going to do. Um, and it's just so heartbreaking and so disgusting, because you'll see it as a teacher. I can see it when a little girl comes in and she's 6 or 7 years old, and her mother's putting makeup on her to send her to school, and she has on fitted clothes and already grooming her to be just like her mother at 6 and 7 years old. I've seen it that young. Jewelry, makeup, hair done, hairspray, bracelets, necklaces. I mean, the whole outfit, like a grown woman, every single day. The things that they do to their daughters is absolutely sickening. And the things that they do to their sons to make their sons feel like they're the girlfriend, the wife for him. That he should only be exclusive to his mother. It's
sickening. And they groom their sons for this. I'm so glad you went on the sons part, because I've been waiting to come after the female narcissist and how she engages her son in emotional incest.
yes,
She relies on that son because there's either the relationship with the father is he's not in the house, and so she needs a man in her life. And listen, the son could be 5, the son could be 2 or 3. It doesn't really matter. It's all about the gratification that she is seeking at the end of the day. So she now begins to dress real seductively around her child. I mean, like, some walk around butt naked, nothing on their bodies, walking around their son going through puberty, who is got so many questions, or they are wearing the most provocative of lingerie. Like, they are, I mean, like, she's extra. But all of that is like, she will begin to, get that emotional support from her son that she should be getting from another man. But because there is nobody there, she does that to her son. Or the father is in the house, whether they're married or not, and she uses her son to triangulate her husband, her partner. So she uses the son to triangulate the father. And so what does this do to the father-son relationship?
Destroys it.
It destroys it, because the son is thinking, I'm better than you, because that's what mom is telling him. And looking at his dad like, you're trash. And the father's like, what's up? And she keeps doing it. And so that's why when we have a lot of men, listen, a lot of men need healing from these types of relationships that they had with their toxic mothers. But where do you go to talk about this? Like, where's the safe space for men to open up their mouths and say, hey, this is what I went through. This is what I experienced growing up. And what it does is it sets him up for failure with every relationship that he would have with a woman. Because number one, he's looking for his mother. So he may end up marrying or being attracted to older women, because that's what he's looking for, a mother figure. Or he may end up with another narcissist, highly likely, because he's used to that. Or he himself becomes a narcissist because that's what he's been groomed to. And he's that forever mama's boy. Now, there's 2 types, because not all mama's boys are bad, but you have that toxic mama's boy who doesn't know, who can't identify boundaries, who doesn't know how to respect boundaries, who doesn't know how to, just keep things at a distance between his wife and his mother, because he's scared of her. She's taught him his whole life
to be afraid.
Yeah.
To be afraid, and that if he does not walk on eggshells and do what she says, she will completely destroy his life, embarrass him by sleeping with his friends and, co-workers, or, men in the family of his wife. And, she'll, no limit for the narc female.
The narc female is nasty, she's nasty. And I think for her, it's even worse, because like, when we look at women, we're looking at them as nurturers of the family. Yeah, they're narcissistic men, but women are nurturers of the family. That's who we are looking to be the primary care for children. And when she turns up and she turns out like this, How
Yes.
do you even begin to reconcile the little girl that's broken on the inside, that is looking for a mother figure to teach her how
Mhm.
to grow, how to be a woman? When the narc mother don't, she does not care. She doesn't care at all. She is so concerned about just seeking her own gratification. That's
Mhm.
why there's a forever revolving door. And you, uncle, every week, every month, every week, every just nonstop.
Mhm. Mhm. Nonstop. I like what T. Will said here. What happens in this house stays in this house. A lot of people grew up with that, rule in their household. That kind of rule perpetuates, like he said, perpetuates abuse. Um, or they say, well, it happened to so and so, or they even say it happened to me. So, just I survived it when they really didn't. And you can look at their relationships and tell that they didn't survive it by the way that they're behaving. So thank you, T. Will, for pointing that out. Because that is a good example of what happens within the family and toxic sex, toxic relationships, and toxic, behaviors like incest.
Right. Yeah, so emotional incest is definitely a thing. And, just like we said, the female narcissist can do this, so can the male. He just does it to his daughter.
Hmm. Oh my
And
God.
so you just flip that thing right around. He does it to his daughter, uses the daughter to triangulate the mother, uses the daughter for his own gratification, touch this,
Hmm.
exposing himself. Like these
Yeah.
things happen. They happen. Especially be very careful with these men that you let into your children's lives. Like fully vet them,
Yes.
because as many of us already are parents. And if you are, or even if you're not, take lessons from this, because whoever you put around your children, make sure that they are good, not just to you, but for your children.
Hmm.
Because mess around and have your child falling in love with the love bombing of a narcissist and the confusion that follows that,
Yeah.
that fog, that narcissistic fog that we were, once bamboozled by. Now
Yeah.
put that on your child.
Hmm. Hmm.
Children don't necessarily have the same coping skills that we do, or the ability to think like we do. And a lot of times when we are in the fog ourselves, we don't see our children.
Hmm. Yes.
You're worried about your own, what's happening,
Hmm.
that to really think. And that's another thing about narcissists. They want to keep you busy mentally so that you
Hmm.
don't have a chance to land and think.
Hmm. Yep. And many times when you're in that fog, if you are willing, tell yourself before you go into the next relationship or dating situation, you're going to listen to the people around you who love you. Because for me, the people who love me, they said something to me.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember my mother saying, I don't like the way that he monopolizes your time. That is a red flag, and you should pay attention. I just won't forget it. I mean, she said it. She called it out, and so be willing to listen and then act up on it. She said also, your boys are acting out. They're acting out because there's something going on. There's something wrong. Something is not right. And so the people who love you are going to tell you. They're going to warn you, so you don't get tied up into this toxic stuff. So if there's something that you take away from here, in addition to some of the other things we said, is that please listen to the people who love you. Many of us feel like they want to take something away from us, or this feels so good. Of course, you want to ruin it, but that's not what they want. They love you. They care for you. They have been there for you for a very long time. And especially those of you who have loving parents, they want the best for you. It makes them look good, when you're doing great. So your parents want you to do your very best, and they're protective, just like you are of your children. If you see them with certain friends, you're like, I don't really like that friend. I don't think that's a good friend. That's not your friend. That's the same. Your parent, they don't change. Your parents, loving parents, doesn't matter how old you get. Until the day that they die, they're going to evaluate your friends and your surroundings because they always want to protect you.
And you know, that's such a good point that you bring up, that we have to listen to those people that are around us, be willing to listen. But the problem with that becomes the narc has already studied that situation.
Hmm.
They already see your family and they know, oops, this is going to be like a challenge right here. And so they begin to manipulate you. They begin
Yeah.
to play with you and tell you things, you know. So be very careful. Know what you know about your family, know what you know about your friends. Don't allow a newcomer to come and clog your mind about who they are and show you things that don't exist, because they are real smooth with it. The enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy. That is their agenda. When they come into you, they want to steal you of your joy, kill your relationship so that they can destroy you in private.
Hmm.
That is it.
That's it. That's toxic sex, you guys. Toxic sex can lead you down a very hard to recover from road. Not impossible, it's very difficult. The longer we travel down that road, you know, the longer it can take us to come back. But we can come back, so be not discouraged. We can recover from what has happened to us. The most important thing to remember, though, is after you have been set free from the pain of being ensnared by this demon, don't return. When you get a feeling with anyone that you try to develop a relationship with that something is not right, trust yourself, trust your instinct. It will not lie to you. And as Joy has said over and over again, I love it. Your instinct does not require proof. Just because I don't see them in the act of something bad, but I feel like something is wrong, I don't need to see the proof. I'm trusting myself because I have practiced self care and self love enough to know that all of the alarms spiritually, because I meditate, I pray over myself. So I've asked God for me, please show me when something is wrong. Tell me when it's wrong. He does it every time. I just have to be willing to listen, to trust that voice.
Thank you for saying that. Like, that is such a big thing. And, you know, especially for those of you that have been raised by narcissistic parents, there's already an injury there. You know, narcissistic parents don't validate their children. They don't reaffirm them. They don't, you know, they just don't build their children up.
Yeah.
And so these children end up becoming adults who are highly insecure, who are not comfortable with making decisions on their own. And even when they do, they continually go back and forth about the choices that they had and the possible outcomes of those different choices.
Mhm.
And so it's so hard to trust yourself. But
Mhm.
you've got to begin that work to heal your core wound. It's not only for children of narcissists, it's those of us who have experienced any point of pain in our lives where we now no longer see ourselves and we need to have somebody else to see us, codependence,
Yes.
right? Or you just, you know, you don't trust yourself because you were never validated as a child. Like, these are real issues, you know, and they are all to throw you off your purpose. They are all to keep you blind as to what kind of a gift that you are to the world. It
Yeah.
is important that you chase down your healing with everything that you have in you. You
Yeah.
have got to recover from this. Otherwise, this pattern is going to continue in your life. You're just going to meet a different type of narcissist
Mhm.
because you raise your vibration up somewhat, so you get a different type. You know, there's
Yes.
so many different types, but they'll meet you right where they are and they will bamboozle you. And you don't want to have to keep going through this again. Like, you know, pause on the relationships. Get yourself, allow yourself
Yes.
time to heal. And, you know, T. Will right here says your body will give you warnings.
Yes.
Migraines, so common for people, you know, migraines. You know, you for those who are emotional eaters, you find yourself just doing it.
Mhm.
Doesn't make any sense, but there are so many sicknesses that you are associated to this type of abuse. And, you know, pay attention to what your body is saying and learn to trust yourself. You know, trust yourself. You save yourself so much pain.
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Right.
Right on. We got any more questions out there?
Let's see. I'm going to check to see if Facebook has any questions.
We tried something a little different today, you guys. So we've got a whole bunch of different live is set up on different platforms. Thank you guys so much for all of the love in here. I'm going to read some of the comments. Hillary said both parents are narcs, so that's not my experience personally. Probably when I was talking about loving parents, yes. And I've noticed that people with narcissistic parents, they push them when they find or notice that they're in a toxic relationship, similar to the mother and father. Um, they try to push you or make you, they gaslight you with that person. It's like that demonic spirit is the same. It's a
They
legion.
recognize each other.
They do. And they want to keep you in there with that person. So they'll gaslight you along with your ex. And it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, I say these things. I've seen it happen. I've heard it from people and experienced it myself. And it just, when we talk about it and then explain what has happened to us, it's almost unbelievable that human beings can behave this way. But that's another discussion because I feel like they are not human. They are less than subhuman, but I talk about that on a video of shapeshifters. They are a shape-shifting narcissist.
They really are. They really are. And another thing that they do or their families do is that now you're the new girlfriend, you're the new boyfriend on the scene, and you're meeting the parents. They can't wait for you to marry their son. They can't wait for you to marry their daughter. They are offering to pay for the wedding 2 weeks into your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You better run. No healthy person is going to do that. And here's the thing, a lot of people, okay, here's the thing. A lot of people want to say, but God can do a right now miracle. And if it's my husband, he will bring him, and Boaz and I are going to be married in 3 days. Stop it.
Yeah.
Yes, God can do that. And there are situations where this works out. But let me remind you, that is the exception. It is not the rule. Afford yourself time to get to know somebody. Mm-hmm. Stop rushing, because the narcissist wants to rush these relationships. That's why love bombing is so intense, because there is a goal, and the goal is to secure you so that they can devour you.
Yes.
Eat you up. That's all it is. And so, any man, ladies, any man who is serious about you, any man who has good intentions for you, wants to marry you, yes, he'll move that thing on with some intentionality and some speed, right? But if you were to tell him, like, listen, sweetheart, I need you to slow down a bit, because, I just need you to slow down. Any man with good intentions for you, he will slow down, but he will maintain enough pressure to let you know, I'm interested in you. Your narc friend is going to double it up, because now I'm going to lose her. I'm going to lose him. And so you have got to be able to stand your ground and respect your own boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Respect your own boundaries. And talking about boundaries before we close, we have another Zoom coming up, you guys, a Zoom class. The last class that we held was about why can't I get over the narcissist. And you guys, in that group, we cried together, we laughed together. We really approached pain head on. There was a bunch of people who I know were taken to another level. And so this is not like a sales pitch, because we don't make any money from it, really. But this is just saying that, letting you guys know that we are here for you. Joy and I spend lots of hours because we want to. This is not for you to say, oh, they've spent lots of hours, because we want to. We want to figure out how we can reach as many people as possible, so that when we reach those people, when we reach you all, that you will go out and reach other people. See, we are planting seeds so that those seeds can grow, and then you're going to go and plant seeds, and it's just going to keep going and going and going. And I saw a comment here that Liberation Speaks. This is This has got to stop. And it starts with me. I'm speaking out against
Yeah.
narcissism. That's what we're talking about right there. That's what we want to see happen. For you guys to speak out, to use your voice, to stamp out narcissism wherever you see it. It doesn't mean the person's necessarily a narcissist, but throw up those boundaries. And so we have the next class coming up that's about boundaries. And we're really going to dig in deep. We're going to make, you know, write out our boundaries, find out where the wounds are open at, and close those. So when you can identify boundaries, what you don't like, how you feel when people cross those boundaries, then you can better enforce, because then you have a plan to work with. You know, you have to sit down, you have to come up with a plan and identify where the pain is at, why it's there, and how do you face it head on and heal. And it really starts with boundaries.
And you know, the special thing about your boundaries is they're not to make you sound cute, like you have standards. This is not about being cute. This is about getting serious about your life and reclaiming your ownership. You want to have the life that you want. You want to get to your desired fulfillment. Your boundaries are always going to be about protecting and preserving who you are, as well as who you are becoming. And we know that you were targeted for a reason. And now it's time to make sure that you get to that heavenly version of yourself. There is purpose attached to your name. And if you go through this thing willy-nilly and you don't heal, again, we always go back to healing and then setting boundaries that will protect you so that you can be authentically yourself and experience the love that you deserve, experience happiness and, you know, good healthy relationships in all areas of your life. And it all starts with your boundaries.
Yeah.
So I hope to see as many of you in our class. Like Tonia said, the last class was beautiful. I mean,
I know.
there are no words. It was just really great.
Yes, it was. So, you guys, we have both on our community boards. If you're interested in signing up, we keep the classes small. We're not going to let any more than about 12 people in to the class. And so that's probably our max. So that way it can feel more like an intimate setting to where we really have the opportunity to share our hearts and then to love on other people. So it's just not joy and our loving on you, but other people are in there loving on you, and you can develop relationships that way, healthy relationships with other people who are going through the same struggles. You might even find your accountability partner there, you know, if you don't have one already. So we just encourage you to just keep learning, keep growing, keep praying, meditating, and keep expecting good things to happen to you. Because the more you expect good things to happen to you, the more that you decide to travel down the road of freedom, you are going to run head on into your destiny, your purpose, and you're going to walk that thing out. And you're going to be so proud of yourself when you look back at all of the mess you left behind you. They're going to steal all of those toxic people. They're still going to be out doing all the same toxic stuff. 20 years later, you're going to hear about them. You're like, they're doing the same thing.
Yes, they don't change. Nope, they don't change. And, you know, real quickly, listen, one, narcissism is in every part of society. It's a narcissistic society, right? So it's not just in relationships, it's in everything, leadership and ministry, workplace. I mean, it's everywhere. This is not just about relationships. And I know we'll end up talking about narcissism in different aspects of life. Like, listen, I love to talk about the spiritual narcissist. Like, I mean, so do you, Tonia.
Yeah.
So that's right. So, guys, we thank you so much. So much. Yes, TB Jobs. We are strong. We are strong. We are strong. And you've got to remind yourself, you know, don't forget to stop speaking those affirmations over your life. Don't stop reaffirming who you are and walking in your authentic identity. Because at the end of the day, the heavenly version of yourself is the goal.
It is. Oh my gosh. I was looking here at Tammy's comment. I've had one. He said younger children are better
Here we go.
than 13-year-old. He chose a girl with two and 3-year-old boys. He's now engaged. Could there be sadist stuff coming? Um, I I think I would have to understand. Tammy, are you saying that he's marrying someone who's young?
That's what it sounds like she's saying.
Yeah.
Like, she when she said like, Tammy, could you just clarify? Because you did say that he prefers somebody with younger children. That
And I mean, if that's the case, Tammy, here's my thing. If you know for a fact that he's that kind of person, I'm saying this to all of you. Children are the least protected people in this world. We don't protect children like we should. So I'm begging you, because as a teacher, it is my duty. I can go to jail if I find out that something is going on terrible with the child. They find out that I knew it. I'm going to go to jail for that. We should consider it our duty and our responsibility as adults. If we know, and I'm not coming at you, Tammy, I'm not saying this to you. I'm just saying for everyone, because this struck a nerve with me. When I was talking about it earlier. And if you find out that something terrible is going on with a child, you need to report it. You need to report it. If a child is showing any signs of being abused, you see any signs of being abused, you need to report it. Reporting abuse could save that child's life. It really can. And I know people always say, oh, when a child goes into the foster system, it's worse. It's not true if you're going to bed and your dad is walking into your room to have sex with you every night.
Listen, let's talk about this for a moment. I'm the child. 4. Lifelong journey, lifelong struggle.
Report it.
Right there.
Report it. Report it. And as a child, I know it's a difficult one, Joy, but if someone had known and taken the time to report, to rescue you, just think about, of course, you ended up getting to exactly to the place where you were supposed to be, because God is good.
Right.
But the things that happened in between, because nobody knew, or if someone did, they didn't say anything.
You see, and that's what it is. Children, when they're not seen in these situations, you don't see yourself at all in life. You don't see yourself, your voice is stolen. I remember just being a quiet kid. There was a time, like that happened when I was 4. When I was 10 and I was at school, we were in the playground and this boy came up and he was like, oh, I like you. I want you to be my girlfriend. The only thing I thought of at that moment was, how do I protect myself now? How do I protect myself now? Many victims of childhood sexual assault experience this too. So one way that, we form different ways to protect ourselves. My thought was like, oh, okay, these kids always making fun of the fat kid. Just eat until you disappear and they'll leave you alone. That started a whole problem on its own. Mm-hmm. But, children, anything that a child can't process is traumatic to that child. And the pain goes on. I talked about it in my last video. 2 suicide attempts. The first one at 15. And let me say this. You said it earlier, Tonia. When it comes to sexual crimes, to sexual assault, we know our predators. I know mine.
Yep. We do. We do.
We do. So,
Guys,
at all costs, protect the children.
Please, please, please protect them. I was looking here. Michelle Lee said, not true. I went to a children's home and it saved my life.
Right.
So that, yes, step in, you guys, step in, be bold, be brave, be the light. When you see something happening, you're not seeing it for the reason to just know that it's happening. to me is God trusted you to see this situation because he felt that you would be the one to take it to the next step to help rescue that baby.
And you know, one thing that I want to say is that, at one point throughout all of this, we look at ourselves as victims. That's not your identity. The story doesn't stop there. You still have a pulse, you still have a heartbeat. And that's why it's important to pursue your healing so that you can move away from a victim status, a victim mentality. We should not be victims of narcissistic abuse. We should not be victims of childhood sexual assault, domestic violence, whatever, your pain point is. Move, become a survivor, but move beyond that and become a thriver. Listen, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. What you went through, turn it over to God. Allow him to do a work in and through you and go back and pay back. Help somebody. It doesn't mean that you come into a setting like this and talk about it like this, but there are so many ways. Some of you are gifted beyond any reasoning. Draw in on your strengths, create the apps, develop whatever, become the producer, write the book, write the play, do whatever it is that you are supposed to do. A lot of these experiences that we face, they're only to cultivate what is on the inside of us. And God's intent is never to hurt us, but we know that people have free will, and the enemy does what the enemy does, but he will turn it around for your good.
Yes.
I'm a living witness. I would not be here right now if that didn't happen. I would not. Lord knows where I would be.
Yes. But God uses everything. And there's someone who needed to hear your testimony. There's someone struggling right now who needs to know that everything will be okay. So when you make it out and you're free, just like where you're at now, Joy, someone needs to hear that. There's someone who's afraid to speak out about what happened to them, and they've been struggling with it and battling anger and acting out and, doing all kinds of things. And many times when you see people who are toxic and, just having sex with whoever and being promiscuous, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily a narcissist. They could be reacting to the pain that no one helped them through.
That is such an important point. One thing that we discussed in the why can't I get over a narcissist class is that we revisited childhood wounds. And a lot of times, we act out as adults. We're angry, we're lashing out, but that's because the inner child doesn't have a voice. The inner child was never heard, was never seen, and is raging like, see me, hear me, feel me. I'm sick of this. And that's why you have to draw in, tap into what's going on the inside of you, so that you can you're not reactive, but you respond to situations. You don't react.
Yes.
And yeah, it hurts.
It
hurts. There are lots of tears involved.
Yep.
But look at it. On the other side of that pain is everything you ever wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And it feels so good to be on the other side.
Right.
When you get to the other side, you're like, man, it was worth every bit of it. And if I had to go through it again to face the pain, just to get to this place of peace, I'd do it again. Because this point is so special and it's so sweet, bittersweet.
And you know what? It's packed with meaning. Like, I don't know, I would do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I would go through all of it again. I would do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you start doing the work to heal your wounds, that's where, your destiny and your pain collide and purpose is birthed. And it's in all of that you find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nothing as beautiful as coming to know who you are and what you were created for.
Yes.
And there's nothing that will stop you from doing it. Nothing will stop you from doing it. So you owe it to yourself and you owe it to us. Come on. You are the salt of the earth.
Yes.
Sprinkle your flavor everywhere. You are a light that cannot be put out.
Mm-hmm.
Shine bright.
Shine bright. Yes. That's a great ending, you guys.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. We just love loving on you guys and you spreading the love and support and giving it back to us. This is a community that's drama free, and I love it. I love how you guys care for each other. I was just reading through the comments, and so many people are just loving on another person who may need help, and that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to not just be part of your evening, but inviting us into your lives and actually trusting us with this process that you're going through. It's nothing that we take lightly at all. And believe me when we say that we are praying for you, and we work all weird hours to try and not just create content to come out on here and talk about something relevant that doesn't tickle your ears but empowers you, that invokes a passion in you to pursue down your healing and be, so that you yourself can become a change agent. It's, thank you. Thank you just for showing up.
Thank you for showing up. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. And as I say always, don't just take care of yourself, but love on the people who love you and love them well.
We'll see you next time.